In this Lynx Render Studio tutorial, we will learn how to use the environment settings and pose editing panels. This last panel is exclusive to the Pro version of Lynx Render Studio, so it will be the version we will use in the tutorial, although the environment settings part is compatible with the free version. Let's get to it. Our program is already open and we start with a loaded model, as we showed you in previous tutorials. First of all, we are going to open the environment settings panel and analyze the options it's offering us. The first option, Show Floor, is very simple. By clicking on the corresponding checkbox, we can show or hide the default floor of the program in case we don't want it to be displayed, or to appear in our renders. Next option is Depth of Field, which allows us to blur objects further away from the scene with the scroll bar beside. Note that depth of field interferes with transparent materials on our model, so we can turn it off if it is producing unwanted effects. We will try to correct this problem in future updates. We move on to lighting, whose scroll bar allows us to adjust the intensity of the lights in the scene to suit our needs. The background section allows us to load a standard JPG or PNG image as background for our renders. To do this, just click on the Browse button and select the image you want to upload. In this case, I'm going to hide the floor so that I can see the background better. Note that depth of field also affects the background we have loaded, so I'm going to adjust it to achieve the desired blur effect, according to my personal taste. We'll come back to transparent background later. For now, let's look at the rendering options at the bottom of the panel. In the first drop-down, we can change the resolution of our renders. Right now it's set to Full HD at 1080p. In the second one, we set the aspect ratio of our renders. In this example, I'm going to change it to 4:3 and get a render of our model. I will now change the resolution to 8K at 4320p and get another render for comparison. You probably noticed that this higher resolution render took longer, but it's still only a few seconds. We will find our images in the render subfolder inside the main directory. They may look similar at first glance, but if we zoom in, we can clearly see the large increase in resolution between them. To finish with the environment configuration panel, we can use this button to remove the background we have loaded to return to the original background of the program. And the transparent background checkbox allows us to render our models as a PNG image with a transparent background. By activating this option, it looks like we are going to get a black background, but let's take a render to see the real result. Here is the image. We can load it in a picture editing program to check that indeed the render has been made with transparent background, which can be very useful to combine it with other images. For the import and pose management part of this tutorial, we are going back to DAZ Studio. As you can see, instead of loading the ballerina model I was using, I have loaded a basic Genesis Female 8 version with very few details. This will reduce the export and import times, but you can also use the original model instead. Now we are going to apply the pose we have chosen to the character as we usually do in DAZ. And with our model selected, we will open the File menu to choose the Export option. Navigate to the main directory of Lynx Render Studio and open the Poses subfolder. Here we are going to create a new folder, which in my case is going to be called Ballerina Poses. And finally, we choose a name to export this pose, for example, Ballerina Pose 1. Click on Save and the export configuration window will appear. As always, I recommend using the exact same options shown in this video, and remember the importance of unchecking the subdivision data box. Click Accept and wait for the export to finish, which should be a quite fast process. To complete this pack of poses, I'm going to export 2 more poses in the same folder we have created. As the paths have been saved, the process is quick and easy. We only have to change the final name of the new poses. I'm going to speed up this part of the video to avoid wasting time. We are now finished in DAZ. We go back to Lynx Render Studio where we have the ballerina model we had previously loaded. To load and edit the poses on it, we open the Poses menu. At the top of the panel we find the original pose and neutral pose buttons. They allow us to load the original pose that comes with the loaded model or the neutral T-shaped pose of the figure, respectively. However, for now we don't have any more poses loaded, and the toggle pose buttons don't work yet. Let's solve this by loading the ballerina pose pack we exported earlier. To do this we click on the Load button, navigate to the Poses subfolder, and select the folder where we have stored our poses. We wait a few moments and see how the first pose of the pack is applied automatically. Now the switch pose buttons are working and allow us to select the desired pose for our renders in a quick and easy way. Are they looking good? Check out our Patreon page for more information about Lynx Render Studio. See you soon!